Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. She dropped it like a joke and went back to scrolling, but it wasn't a joke. I stood at the kitchen counter with the credit card statement and a pen. "We can cut this right now," I told her, tapping a line of candles, a stack of throw pillows, 2 subscription boxes, and a boutique order that looked like someone had spun a roulette wheel in a gift shop. She didn't even look up. "Why are you so tight with money? You're my husband. You should handle it. I like nice things. What's the problem?" "The problem is you're spending as if I'm printing dollar bills in the garage," I answered. "We have a mortgage, taxes coming up, the HVAC service you rescheduled twice, and a car that needs tires. That's the problem." She sniffed. "So tires are sacred, but my things are nonsense. Your things are fine in moderation." "This is not moderation." I set the statement down, circled the number at the bottom, and slid it across. "Starting today, joint cards are paused. I'll cover the house, savings, and groceries. You'll get a weekly amount for your stuff until we stabilize." Her eyes finally came off the phone. "You're pausing my cards?" "I'm blocking them," I corrected. "I'll transfer a set amount every Friday. It's not punitive. It's a reset." "You're unbelievable. If I'd known where this was headed, I would have made this move a month earlier." She started with the distance the same night. No warmth, no small talk, just the sound of utensils and the hum of the dishwasher. She went to bed early and faced the wall. Real subtle. I made a note in my head, not of feelings, but of patterns. The next morning I brewed coffee and opened the laptop at the table, clearing up the budget categories. She walked in, hair in a headband, wearing a sweatshirt with a cheerful slogan that felt like a dare. "Don't glare at me," she threw from the fridge. "I'm not glaring. I'm planning the month." "Planning me?" she shot back. "What am I, 12? "You're my partner," I replied. "Partners follow the numbers. Here's the breakdown. I'll handle mortgage, utilities, insurance, and groceries. You'll have your stipend for personal buys and outings. If you need more, ask in advance, and we'll see what can be moved." You don't talk like a husband. You talk like a supervisor. Want to talk like a husband and wife? Then respect the budget we both claim to care about. She grabbed almond milk and shut the fridge with her hip. "I have a brunch Sunday." "Not this week," I told her calm. "We're pausing discretionary groups until we get our footing." Her jaw twitched. "My friends will be there." "Good for them. I'll be in the garage finishing an estimate. We can host them here next month if the numbers line up." "You're always counting." "Because the bills do, too." She stared at me as if I'd swapped out our wedding photos for spreadsheets. Then she went quiet and sent a fragrant cloud of moisturizer toward the sink like punctuation. At work, Ethan, my foreman, leaned against the office door and held up a donut like a white flag. "You look like you slept with your boots on." "I slept with a human icicle," I told him, moving invoices into a neat stack. "We're dialing back spending." She's not thrilled. "Money never argues." "People do," he muttered. "That's why I'll argue once and move the numbers twice." I set an alert on my phone, switched direct deposits, and separated the emergency fund. If she wanted to call me controlling for making sure we didn't set the house on fire, so be it. That evening she came home with a bag anyway, small but glossy, the kind that costs more than what's inside. "You blocked my card," she announced, holding it up like Exhibit A. "So I used mine." "You opened a store account?" I asked, looking at the logo. "It was easy," she replied. "They said I was pre-approved. For a discount and a headache later," I said. "Return it." "No." "Then that's this week's money, and next week's is half," I replied, not raising my voice. "That's how we keep rules from becoming suggestions." She laughed under her breath. "You really think you can teach me a lesson?" "No. I'll teach the budget a lesson. No more leaks." Her eyes narrowed. "This is unattractive. Then we have a bigger problem than a candle haul." She went silent again. It wasn't the honest kind of silence that says, "Let me think." It was the silence that says, "I'll punish you with absence." 3 days later, the pendulum swung. She showed up at my shop around noon. She doesn't come there. She doesn't like the dust. She set a container on my desk and a handwritten note. "Chicken and rice. Sorry about the other night. I know you're trying." "You cooked?" I raised a brow. "It's not illegal," she said. "Smells good." Ethan called from the doorway, then retreated like a smart man who knows when not to be a witness. I took a bite. "Thanks." She watched me. "I've been stressed." Brunch. I'll skip it this week. That's your call, I answered. Skipping won't kill you. I get it, she added soft. We need to be grown-ups. Good. And next month, I have a girls' trip. Flights aren't cheap, so if you could free up some extra. There it was. I set the fork down. No trip next month. I just said I would skip brunch. Her voice sharpened. I meet you halfway, and you slam the door. You met me halfway to ask for a flight, I replied. I'm not a vending machine. We're stabilizing first. She stood straighter. I'm not asking permission. I'm telling you early. Appreciate it. Still no. She tilted her head. Is this really about money or about control? It's about math, I answered. And discipline. I'm not running a charity. I'm your wife. That's why I'm telling you the truth. She picked up the note as if she regretted writing it and slid it into her pocket. You know, most husbands want their wives happy. I want mine respected. Happiness follows that. She left with a smile that had no warmth. The food tasted fine, but the timing tasted off. Apology with a hook buried in it. Classic bait. I made another transfer to the emergency account and added two-factor authentication on everything. Saturday, we got an invite to a neighborhood barbecue. I didn't mind going. Sometimes strangers help you see your own house clearer. We brought a salad and stood in a circle of lawn chairs. Marty, who lives across the street and enjoys telling other people's stories back to them, asked, So, anniversary coming up, right? Big plans. Quiet dinner, I replied. She cut in. If he lets me order a side, she joked, looking at the group. We're on rationing. He's become the budget police. Marty laughed like that line had been waiting for release. Karen, our neighbor who runs everything from PDA to the rumor flow, smiled into her cup. I kept my tone even. We're being sensible. House first. She went for it again. He even made envelopes. Wrong family, I said. I made categories in a spreadsheet. And I'm not a punchline. Relax, she chuckled. Everyone jokes. Leave our budget out of it, I replied. I didn't add please. I didn't add later. I said it so the circle heard it. Karen's eyebrows went up, but she nodded like she understood the message. Marty shifted in his chair. The grill popped. My wife stared as if I'd broken some performance rule. After we ate, she pulled me aside. You embarrassed me. You did that when you volunteered our private business, I replied. This stays between us. Say it out loud. What? That you won't make jokes about our money around friends. You can't dictate. I can choose not to be present for it. I put the salad bowl in her hands. I'm heading out. You can catch a ride. Don't you dare. Watch me follow through. I nodded to Karen. Thanks for the food. Good night. I left. That was the rule drawn in public. No more comedy sets about my bank account. You don't pull a boundary like that in private and hope it sticks. You fix it where it was bent. At home, I moved a few things into the guest room. Laptop, charging cable, a stack of work shirts. Not a tantrum. Logistics. I changed my gym schedule and booked an early slot for the month. I stopped asking what she wanted for dinner and cooked simple meals. No commentary. Just a quieter life lined up for one person. The next week, she escalated. She gave me the cold, real cold. No good mornings, no touch, no questions. She turned our bed into a partitioned conference table. One night, I said, You done? From the doorway. With what? She replied, eyes on a show. With pretending I'm the landlord. If you feel like one, maybe stop acting like one. Or you can keep quiet, I answered, and we'll live like roommates. I'm fine either way. She glanced over, surprised that I wasn't taking the bait. Then she rolled back to the screen. That told me what I needed. Fine. Roommates it is. I put a stop to midnight chats, favors, and any social plans where I'd be used as a prop. 2 days later, she tried the softness again, this time bigger. She came into the garage in jeans and a t-shirt, brought a 6-pack of sparkling water, and stood next to me while I sorted tools. Hey, she began, almost warm. I've been thinking. Our anniversary, why don't we do something small at home? I'll cook. Just us. Small is good, I said. And maybe a cake with your parents? I know you like that tradition. Sure. She exhaled like she'd lifted a bar. I miss us. Then stop mocking me in front of people. I was teasing. Stop teasing me in public, I repeated. And stop spending outside your budget. That's it. I'm not asking for a parade. She nodded. Okay, I hear you. That evening she was careful. It was almost convincing. She lit 2 candles. Old ones, not new, and made salmon with vegetables. She touched my arm when she passed the plates. Later, she settled next to me on the couch and leaned in. "This is better," she whispered. "It is," I agreed, and I meant the quiet part. But my calendar reminder was still set for every Friday. Transfer her weekly amount, audit categories, review alerts. I didn't shut those off because she smiled through dinner. The following day, I found the other shoe. A group text popped up from Karen. "So excited for Saturday. Let me know what I can bring." Then a flood of thumbs up and "can't wait" from half the cul-de-sac, plus my parents and two of her friends. I scrolled to the top. The invitation was from my wife. Big caps, confetti emoji, anniversary open house. Come celebrate love. Food, drinks, games. There was even a note. Gifts optional, but bring stories. She'd set the time, the menu, and my house as the venue. No mention of a budget, naturally. I walked into the kitchen with my phone. "You planned an open house." She looked up from the counter like it was nothing. "Yeah, small thing got bigger. People love us." I said small dinner. I reminded her. "You also said you wanted family there," she countered. "Relax. I'll handle it." "With what money?" "Stop being dramatic." "You didn't answer." "I'll figure it out." "You always do." She smiled as if that line absolved her of arithmetic. "I won't fund it," I told her. "Too late," she said. Invites went out. Everyone's excited. "I won't fund it," I repeated. She turned the water on, loud enough to drown reality, and pretended not to hear. That night, I opened the safe and noticed the emergency cash was short. Not by accident short. Purpose short. I didn't make a speech. I locked the safe, checked the log, moved what was left to a safety deposit box the next morning, and changed the code. Inside the same morning, I reserved a short-term apartment a few blocks from my shop. 2 rooms, clean, month to month. I moved my passport, my documents, and my grandfather's watch to my office locker. Then I called a locksmith for the shop door, just in case, and set up a mail forward to the P.O. box. If you think it's cold to prepare, ask yourself how warm it is to be laughed at in your own home while your savings leak under a party flyer. My friend Tom called that afternoon. "Karen told Sarah told me your wife is throwing a festival." "Open house," I corrected. "Yes." "You good?" "I'm scheduling my life," I replied. "I'll be good when it's scheduled." Tom went quiet for a beat. "I'm free Saturday if you need an exit car." "I won't need a car," I told him. "I'll need a lane." "Lane? You'll see." 2 days before the anniversary, she put on the show again. She came into my office with coffee and a small paper bag. "I got your favorite cookies," she said. "I know you hate parties. I promise it won't be crazy. Just a few hours." "You already invited half the county," I replied. "Everyone misses us," she countered. "And I want them to see how good we are." "We're not good." She smiled like I was adorable. "Don't be grumpy. It's one night. Then keep it small." "Let me handle it," she said, and patted my shoulder like I was an intern. I didn't argue. I confirmed my appointment at 8 a.m. on the day, signed the rental agreement, and set reminders, file paperwork, drop keys, pack bag. Then I went home and grilled chicken for one, cleaned my dishes, and slept in the guest room like a tenant who pays on time. The day before the party, my mother called. "We're bringing dessert. Your father insists on ice cream cake." "Do it," I replied. "It'll be the only thing that doesn't cost more than it should." "You two okay?" she asked. "We will be," I said. "Mom, just be ready for honesty." "I always am," she answered, in that voice that says she's seen more than a few storms and knows which ones pass and which ones clear the air for good. At 11 that night, my wife tried one more angle. She came into the guest room doorway in a soft robe, polite smile in place. "Can we talk?" "We can state facts," I said, staying seated. I pushed. You pulled back. "I get it. I shouldn't have joked," she began. "Correct," I said. "And money is tight, sure. I can adjust," she went on. "Great." She took a tentative step. "So, come back to bed. Start over. Tomorrow will be nice. People need to see we're solid." "I'm not a prop," I replied. "And I don't do resets on words. I do them on actions." "This is an action," she said, gesturing to herself, smiling more. "I'm here." "You're here because you need me to stand next to you while you play hostess," I answered. "You took cash from the safe. You built a party on my name without my yes." "It's our house," she snapped, mask slipping. "It's our house when respect lives here," I said. When respect leaves, so do I. You're being ridiculous, she fired back. One party and you act like I robbed a bank. It's not one party. It's a pattern. And I'm correcting the math. You think people will be on your side if you make a scene? She asked. I'm not making a scene, I replied. I'm avoiding one. I stood. Good night. She rolled her eyes and left with that spin only people who expect forgiveness can pull off. I packed quietly. 2 suits, work clothes, toiletries, laptop, documents already moved. I put the bag in my truck, set 2 alarms, and slept fine. At 5 a.m. on the anniversary, I showered, dressed, and wrote a single line on a sticky note. Don't look for me here. It isn't home today. I placed my ring on top of it, on the empty dresser space where her trinkets used to pile up. I took one last look at the living room set up for triumph. Balloons half inflated, banners folded, and locked the door behind me. By 7, I was at the apartment signing papers. By 8:30, I had keys and a Wi-Fi password. At 10, I stopped by the county office, submitted what needed submitting, and confirmed the next steps. No drama, just a signature and a date stamp that told me I'd moved from thinking to done. All day my phone pinged. Vendors, neighbors, can you grab extra ice? From Karen, and 2 texts from my wife, both breezy, don't be late. And wear the blue shirt, it photographs well. I ignored them. I organized my closet by function. I set up the coffee maker. I tightened a cabinet hinge the landlord had neglected. You ground yourself with practical tasks when everything else tries to spin. At 6:15, my screen lit up with her call. I let it ring once, twice, then answered. Where are you? She demanded. Laughter and voices swelled behind her. Everyone's waiting. I'm not coming. That's not funny. I'm not joking, I said. I'm not celebrating disrespect. What? This marriage is over, I told her. I took care of the paperwork today. She made a sound like a mic cutting out. Say that again. Put me on speaker, I said. What? Speaker, I repeated, steady. You wanted an audience. There was a shuffle, then silence, then a hush of a room realizing they're part of something. I could pick out my mother's low cough, Marty's chair scrape, Karen's breath. You're on, she said, brittle. Hi, everyone, I said. Thanks for coming out for a party. There's a change of program. The marriage you came to toast isn't a thing anymore. I filed today. If you want to celebrate, call me later. We can throw bowling balls instead of confetti. What are you doing? She hissed. Ending what you started when you decided my work is your shopping tab and our life is your stage, I replied. Enjoy your night. You can't, she began, but I hit end. No more scenes. No more stage. My phone lit up in seconds. Tom, then Ethan, then my mother. I took Tom. You serious? He asked odd. I'm at the lanes in 20, I answered. We're already here, he said, like he'd expected this might be the night. I walked into the bowling alley and it felt correct. Bright lights, no pretenses, everyone equalized by bad shoes. Tom clapped my shoulder. Ethan gave me a look that mixed respect and relief. Our buddy Jay showed up with his usual deadpan. So the party moved venues. That one can have the punch, I told him. We got a lane. I rolled the first ball and left a split. Perfect metaphor, but I didn't say it. I wasn't in the mood to decorate. Halfway through the second game, a woman 2 lanes down asked if I'd seen her ball hook left on the approach. She had dark hair in a ponytail and the kind of easy posture that says she's comfortable being a person without putting on a show. Depends, I answered. Is it the one aiming for the gutter or the pins? She laughed. I'll take either as long as one falls. She stuck out a hand. Nora. Mike, I replied. Happy. Saturday, she tried. Let's keep it at Saturday, I said. She nodded, like she understood more than the words. Tom leaned in later. You gonna ask for her number? Not tonight, I told him. Tonight, I clear my head. Fair, he said, and we played till the place closed. We talked about flooring and bad TV and whether anyone actually likes anchovies. Nobody made speeches. That was the point. Sunday morning, the phone was quiet. Noon it started again. Her friends first, call me, what happened? Then Karen, you okay? Then my mother, I'm proud of you. Come by for leftovers if you want to avoid cooking. I texted Mom I'd swing by for cake. It tasted exactly like cake, which is to say it made no promises it couldn't keep. Monday I went to the house during lunch, alone, while she was at work according to her calendar. I walked through the rooms with a box and took what was truly mine, tools, my grandfather's photo, the fishing reel Dad gave me at 16. I left the couch, the dining table, the bed. I wasn't stripping a ship. I was leaving a port. That night she called. You humiliated me. You humiliated me for a month, I replied. You turned me into a prop. I turned off the stage lights. You couldn't text first? I didn't want to argue. I wanted a clean line. You taught me that last month. What does that even mean? It means when you cut warmth, I cut access. When you took money from the safe, I took the safe out of reach. When you invited people without asking, I removed myself from the guest list. You think anyone will side with you after that stunt? She asked. I don't need sides, I said. I need sleep. You're heartless, she fired. No, I'm done, I answered. We'll handle logistics through email. Don't you hang up on me, she snapped. I ended the call. If the last month taught me anything, it's that some conversations aren't conversations. They're nets. You stop swimming when you cut the rope. The weeks moved with the speed of paperwork and the quiet of separate schedules. I kept my head down and my routine tight. Shop, gym, a beer with Tom on Fridays, a call with Mom on Sundays. Nora texted me once. Hey, your friend gave me your number. No pressure. I replied a day later. Appreciate it. Let's be normal humans and talk in a bit. She sent a thumbs up and left it alone. No push, no performance. It was almost strange, like finding a door that opens without a trick. In the meantime, the reports came in, not from me, but from the ecosystem. Karen, who notices everything. My cousin, who knows my mother's church friend. Even Ethan, whose wife ran into my wife at the store. The open house had been awkward. People drifted. Stories didn't land. A few tried to fill silence with small jokes, but it turns out it's hard to toast a couple when one half calls in a different program live. 2 months after that night, the split was formal. It wasn't a victory lap. It was a release valve. I moved back into the house, legally mine, nothing dramatic, changed a few things, and left most alone. I replaced the banner hooks with fresh paint, fixed a squeaky cabinet, bought tires because tires have the decency to do exactly what you pay them to do. I texted Nora, coffee this week? She replied, Wednesday works. Honest smile emoji. No glitter, no fireworks. At the shop, Ethan asked, you good? I'm better, I told him. Feels quiet around you, he observed. That's the goal, I said. On Wednesday, I met Nora at a small place off Main. We talked like two adults who have weathered enough to know quiet isn't boring. I mentioned I was rebuilding my weekends. She mentioned she likes hiking, but refuses to pretend a rock is a chair. We laughed. When it was time, I said, I'm not rushing anything. I respect slow. I like slow, she answered. Speed is for exits. We met again a week later. And a week after that. I kept my space clean and my boundaries visible. She seemed to like both. I still heard about my ex now and then. She moved in with her parents to reset. That's how the message arrived. Through people who can't help adding captions to your life. The open house crew faded. The brunch group had new topics. That's how it goes when the show ends. The crowd finds another stage. One Saturday, Tom came over to help me mount new shelves in the garage. He held a level while I drilled. Feels like a different place, he said. It is, I replied. What's your headline for the last year? He asked. Simple, I said. Respect is cheaper than parties. And if someone insists you buy their fun at the price of your dignity, you're paying twice. He grinned. Put that on a t-shirt. I'll put it in my head, I told him. 3 months after the paperwork, I hosted something small. Not an open house. A handful of people at a clean table, good food, no speeches. Nora brought a pie she actually baked. My parents joined for dessert. Tom made a joke and asked permission first with his eyes. I nodded. That's what earned comfort looks like. People placed their plates in the sink without a hint. Music played low. Around 9, I walked Nora to her car. She looked up at the house. You did a good job. With what? I asked. Making it yours without making it a museum, she said. It feels lived in, not staged. That's the nicest thing anyone said about my walls, I replied. She laughed. You're funny. I'm honest, I answered. That reads as funny after a certain kind of year. She leaned on the door. I'm in. Slow is fine. Real is required. Real is the only price I pay, I told her. On her drive away, my phone buzzed with a number I recognized and didn't save. I let it go to voicemail. I listened later. No words, just breathing and a hang-up. That, too, told a story. I deleted it without a speech. When I finally slept that night, I slept like someone who had rearranged life by action instead of begging. No neon. No confetti. Just a man who follows through. If you're waiting for some warming middle where she realizes and apologizes, and we do a long talk over tea, keep waiting. People show motive by patterns, not pleas. Her pattern was this: spend, mock, ignore, then smile when she needed an audience. My pattern now is this: notice early, set a rule in public where the line bent, move my schedule, move my things, and, when the math still doesn't work, move out. The final line at the party wasn't a stunt. It was a receipt. I said it once more 2 months later when I signed the last paper at the county office and handed the pen back. I don't celebrate disrespect. The clerk nodded like she'd heard every kind of story. Maybe she had. I walked out into a quiet afternoon, got in my truck that finally had new tires, and drove to a home that didn't run on performances. I had dinner plans with someone who understands that money is numbers and respect is terms. I cleaned the grill, set 2 plates on the counter, and texted Nora I was running 5 minutes behind because the shelves in the garage were crooked and I couldn't stand it. She texted back, "Fix them. I'll bring salad." No drama. No stage. Just 2 people who know that you don't throw a party to patch a crack. You fix the crack. And if you want a parting line to stick on a fridge, here's mine. I left early in the morning and filed by noon because the only thing worse than living like a stranger in your own house is pretending it's fine. I didn't go silent. I didn't shout. I set the rule, did the math, and walked. She kept the balloons. I kept the house. And my life, oddly enough, got cheaper the moment I stopped paying for someone else's show.